Is it time to unleash Ace Bailey? Next on Locked on Jazz. Bum 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 bum.
You are Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz. Part of the Locked on Podcast Network. Your team every day.
How are you? I'm David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz, Jazz NBA insider. This is Locked on Jazz, your daily podcast on the Utah Jazz, give you insight, expertise, geeky numbers, and hopefully making it way better to be a Jazz fan each and every day. Thank you so much for making Locked on Jazz your first listen of the day, and thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. On today's show, it's a Monday, so we'll do Trends Monday. Oklahoma City, seriously, dudes, let's mellow out a little bit. Holy cow. We'll get to them. Kings and Rockets games, a tale of two different games. Why? We'll dig into that. We will open today with, is it time to unleash one Ace Bailey? Today's show is brought to you in part by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get just $5 if your bet wins, or with bet just $5 if your bet wins. You'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Head to FanDuel.com to get started. Thank you very much to the Everydayers. You're the greatest. Coming up, I think next Monday, a little Everydayer announcement for a good little new program. Hopefully you'll love it. Hope you're great. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving and everything. Just kind of sending my thoughts to you. We're all a little community. We've done this together for a long time. So I was just texting with our director of video production, whose father passed away like the week before Thanksgiving. And so obviously sometimes it's not great. So I kind of think I'm sending both of all of you a little bit of support for those who Thanksgiving's not great and wasn't great this year. And those of you that are, thanks for being a part of it and being with us this time of year. All right. Ace Bailey's really good. The flashes are there. I said to Ron on the call the other night, you know he's getting better because it's not like a big deal every time he makes a play. You now just expect it. He's really good. He's ungodly offensively talented. He made a play yesterday on the right baseline, gets off balance, loses his footing, turns, fades, rises, and that's the real word, rises up over the top and takes a shot from 15 feet. He's probably 2 feet above the defender. I don't know that he'll always want to jump this high on all of his jump shots, but he extends fully. And if there's a picture of it out there, like he is up over the top. This kid's going to be able to get his shot anytime he wants. That's actually been the most eye-opening thing. Even from, I think the first Summer League game he played, Ron Boone said to me, oh, wow, on like just a pull-up J. He's like, oh, he can get that anytime he wants. So let's talk about what we're doing with Ace Bailey. Will had a really good, and maybe we'll use it on Will's Wednesday, answer the other day about being very patient and very deliberate with how you're feeding him. And there's two things here. One, you and I, and Will, he openly admitted, and probably Austin Ainge and Justin Zanuck, and Ryan Smith, and everybody that matters, and every coach, and all of us fans want to see all of Ace Bailey right now. All of it. Like I'll admit, like 5 minutes left in the game last night, I said, like, okay, let's just give him a call play for him every time. That's good for us immediately. It's probably not the right answer long-term. This is a long game. We don't really care if Ace Bailey is at all cylinders on December 15th of this year. We do really care that Ace Bailey is the best he can possibly be October 15th of 2027. It's kind of, if you're putting a timeline on the Ace Bailey game, we need him in the beginning of his third year to be peaking out. That's the year in which these are high standards. So don't underestimate what I'm saying here. But the third year is when Kevin Durant became an MVP candidate. And the third year is when Jason Tatum became an all-star. Okay. And those are probably the models that we're talking about. And probably more on the Tatum than the Durant, since Durant's probably one of the three greatest scorers in the history of the game. So what really, really matters is where Ace Bailey is. And I think we have to remember this. Okay, let me just say, I'm not going to speak for you. I have to remember that what matters with Ace Bailey is where he is October 15th of 2027. I need that. Thank you. Please remind me all the time. We need to put a little sign up on my board. I have all my motivational signs over here. And I need to put October 15th of 2027. So Will's really interesting about this. He seems to have the perspective. He has the contract extension. This is why his contract extension mattered. He has this perspective. And so they're being very deliberate and they're patiently feeding him little pieces. And the fact is, Will said the other day, confidence is a lot of this. We do not want, confidence is a real thing. These are humans. We do not want to over push Ace and ask too much out of him and have him suddenly lose confidence and never get it back. We may be seeing that, frankly, with Cody. It's going to be interesting to see if Cody can bounce back from that rookie year. Maybe talent-wise he can't. Maybe mentally he can. He's super smart. So it's going to be interesting to see. But we may have over-dipped Cody in my terminologies. And Ace has been great. As a starter, he's shooting a remarkable 53% from the field and 41% from three. He's averaging 14 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. He plays from 10 to 25 feet out. And the big next step for him is going to be when he actually starts to play from 0 to 10 feet. Right now, everything's probably from 15 feet out. When he drives to the basket, he has no idea what he's reading. He has no idea what speed he's going. He has no idea how he's getting over people. He's all instinct right now. His instincts are awesome because his talent is incredible. He even said it last night post-game. He's like, well, it's God-given talent. I just kind of do it. It's amazing. Let's look at the comps of when do you unleash Ace Bailey. So there's the Kevin Durant model. And Oklahoma, and what Seattle did with Kevin Durant, let's remember that. Seattle with PJ Carlesimo on a really poor team. They did not have a Lauri Markkanen. They did not have anyone on that roster. And Durant on opening night took 22 shots and played in the second night of the year. He played 40 minutes and took 23 shots. That team was the beginning of major league. There was a major league tank by Oklahoma City, the movie, to make sure that Clay Bennett got his people there. The player who played the second most amount of minutes on that team was Earl Watson. Okay. The second leading scorer on that team was Chris Wilcox. This team was horrific. So they had no choice, and they just unloaded and threw Kevin Durant into the deep end. They had him play shooting guard. They won 20 games that year. They threw him in the deep end. They were the worst offensive team in the league, and they just kind of let him do whatever he did. They just didn't want him to get touched, and so they threw him in the deep end. A better example, and it's the Jazz have studied 2 players. They've studied Jason Tatum, and they've studied Kevin Durant, is Jason Tatum's team. Because Jason Tatum was probably the 3rd best offensive player on that team. Kyrie Irving was the best. They had Al Horford, who's probably was the best player, but not the best. And then Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum were at and Jaylen Brown, you'll recall, was 21 at this point, and Jason Tatum was 19. So it's probably similar to Lauri Markkanen was Kyrie Irving, taking 18 shots a game. Jaylen Brown was Keyonte George, still developing into kind of his own players in his second year, not his third. And then there was Jason Tatum. In the opening months of the season, Jason Tatum's usage rate, so that's percentage of possessions he used while he was on the floor, was at 17 or 18%. Guess what Ace Bailey's is? 17 or 18%. It's right, very similar. Then in December, beginning to show a little bit more, they moved his usage rate in December and January to 19%. And then in March and April, Jason Tatum's usage rate went to 23%. Okay, that's probably the model here. So as much as I would like to start seeing 5 or 6, 7, 8 or 9, 10, 11, 12, 23 plays a night run for Ace Bailey, it's probably not what's best for October 15th of 2027. God, patience sucks. As a starter, Ace Bailey is a remarkable 53% from the floor, 41% from three, and his usage rate is 19%. So Tatum's usage rate In his opening month was 17. In November and December, it kind of moved to 18. In January, it moved to 19%. And then in March and April, it moved to 22%. And interestingly, at that point, Jason Tatum's productivity dropped. He started shooting 42, 43, 44% and really dropped. Tatum, I think, was amazing. I don't have it in front of me. I can find it very quickly. Tatum, I believe, was 48% as a rookie and 44% from three. Like, Jason Tatum was amazingly efficient coming, and he, in the book on him, if you recall, coming out of Duke, was very similar to that of Ace Bailey, in that he was thought to be kind of a mid-range player, not going to be very efficient and things like that. And he ends up shooting 48% and 43 or 44% from three as a rookie. I mean, Tatum was great as the second or third best player. We're seeing something fairly similar from Ace right now. I mean, in the month of November, Ace Bailey is 51% from the field and 39% from three, with a usage rate at 19%. It's pretty awesome. And it's probably, when do we unleash him? Well, Will likes to talk about 10-game windows. So I think if you go look at the first 10 games of the year with Ace, he probably took, and now he's taking a few more shots, and it's probably going to be very slight and incremental, as much as you and I and Will Hardy too want to accelerate this faster. There's no value. There's only downside. He's getting plenty of experience right now. But if you go look his first 10 games of the year, he took 7 shots a game and played 19 minutes a night coming off the illness. And we're about to hit the next 20. And he's suddenly playing 25 minutes a night and taking 10 shots a night. And it's going to just go to 11 and 12. And I would guess that in March and April, we're going to see Ace Bailey with a usage rate from about 19% to 23%. Very similar to what happened with Jason Tatum. So the answer on when to unleash Ace Bailey is probably not tonight, as much as we would all like to see it. As fun as it would be, the answer is this is about October 15th of 2027. And so unleashing Ace Bailey is probably post All-Star break. Patience sucks. How is it possible we were so good Friday and so bad yesterday? Next on Locked On Jazz. Monday edition of Locked On Jazz brought to you by our good friends over at Murdoch Chevy. Fun things are happening at Murdoch Chevy right now in Woods Cross. There's also a Murdoch Chevy in Logan. So if you are up there, make sure you check it out. If you are going to head over and look at either any of the cars or trucks at any of these locations, why don't you let us give you the Locked On VIP treatment? Because if you're looking for that 0% for 3 years on the 2025 Silverado 1500 or the 2026 Equinox, then this is the time. If the 2026 Silverado 1500 crew cab and 0% again kicks into you, well, then this is the time. Head over to Murdoch Chevy in Woods Cross, or if you're looking to do it up in Logan, email me first at dlock09@gmail.com. That's dlock09@gmail.com so that we can give you the VIP treatment you deserve over at Murdoch Chevy. The Murdochs, 90 plus years in Utah. Chevy is Americana. The combination is perfection. Make sure you grab it. Murdoch Chevy. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Fun time of the year to get involved with everything involving Prize Picks, whether it's the NFL or the NBA or any college sports, the holiday season, bowl games, big basketball matchup, playoff pushes. It's all happening all at once. And you're making choices every day. One of the most fun places to make the right call, Prize Picks. Because Prize Picks is the easiest way to get in on daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, and available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. Prize Picks has an added layer of excitement to the holiday sports schedule by making it every bit as fun. You can create a lineup in a minute or two, and the app makes the whole process smooth and easy. An early payout feature is a great bonus. When your lineup starts strong, you may get the option to cash out early with Prize Picks. So jump aboard today. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use the code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKEDONNBA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Thank you so much for making Locked On Jazz your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcast network. Woohoo! Boy, were we good on Friday. Boy, did we suck last night. How is that possible? Opponent. Honestly, opponent. And if you kind of look at what we're doing this year and what our record is against different types of teams and things like that, like that's the answer. We are very opponent dependent right now. I think part of it is that the best teams are physical. In a very simple term, this is like coaches talk about it all the time. But the best teams are physical and get it into us and know what we're going to run and are well prepared. And we can't run our stuff freely, and then we really kind of fall apart. Against above 500 teams right now, we're 2-10. And against below 500 teams, we're 4-3. So Sacramento, I think the performance against Sacramento that the Jazz had is a larger indictment on Sacramento, and the performance the Jazz had against Houston is a larger tribute to who Houston is than anything about the Jazz. We're a 2.5 player offensive team right now. Everybody else we're playing either has some level of deficiency or item that they're trying to figure out. And I think I think what we're seeing is, Keyonte last night just had, the illness had to be part. That was the worst night of his NBA career. Like, that is just no other way to say it. Like, he didn't score and he had 8 turnovers. And tonight, I think today's fascinating. Like, how does everybody bounce back tonight? And Lauri is in the doldrums a little bit, physically being asked to be the number one option. Will said after the game yesterday that his balance is not quite right on his shot. And teams, like, Lauri cannot get his own shot. So teams know where he's coming from, how he's getting shots, and they're in on it. But it's not every team. And it's just really telling. Like, if you look, we played Houston, that's a great defensive team. He gets 12 shots. We played Oklahoma City, who's a great defensive team and super physical. He got 8 shots. Played Sacramento, who's out there lollygagging, hating each other, and then he got 23 shots. Well, he hit the Warriors, who are pretty average. He got 19 shots. He played the Lakers, that are kind of slow and he got 19 shots. I'm not sure that Lauri dictates the amount of shots he gets on a given night. I think the opponent probably does. The other, like, elite level defensive teams that like the first time we played Sacramento, he got 23 shots. Like, there's something to this. Like, we played Charlotte, who's not a very good defensive team. Lauri got 28 shots. Played Boston, he got 17. Played Minnesota, he gets 14 and 15 in back-to-back games. We could probably look at Lauri against top 10 defensive teams versus top bottom, and it's probably really different. And that probably is the difference. There's a lot of probablys here, so a lot of caveats, not a very definitive statement by me. Let's be honest. I'll say it definitively. If you look at Lauri's performances against top 10 defenses, and contrast that to when he plays a bottom 10 defense or a middle defense, he's not able to get his own shot off, and that's where that deficiency shows up really loudly, and why Lauri is awesome, but probably a number 2 or number 3 on a good team, not a number 1. Someone's got to be able to create a shot. But if you look at, I'm just doing this off the top of my head, not at actual rankings. I kind of have in my head who I think the top 10 defensive teams are in the NBA. They're Houston, Oklahoma City, Minnesota. I would think Detroit's probably in there somewhere. Miami, we haven't played yet. Toronto, we haven't played yet. Dallas is actually still really good defensively. And Golden State probably deserves to be in that group, and probably Orlando. That's kind of off the top of my head, like running that's probably. So if we look at who have we played that's a top 10 defensive team with Lauri this year, we've played Boston, who he got 17 shots off. Detroit, he did get 22 off, so to his credit. Against Minnesota, he got 14 and 15. Against Oklahoma City, he got 8, and against Houston, he got 12. Against Golden State, which is a pretty good defensive team, he got 19. And yet, then you go look at the others. 25 against Atlanta, 33 against Chicago, 21 against the Lakers, 23 against Sacramento, 23 against Sacramento, 32 against Phoenix, 20 against Phoenix, 28 against Charlotte. Yeah, it's a really big difference. Really big difference. So I think the swing of performances, it has to do with the opponent. We're actually a really good litmus test right now on whether somebody's engaged or not. We run great offensive stuff. We're very creative in the things we run. We do a bunch of interesting things. Our offense creates most of our offense, if that makes sense. Our structure creates most of our shots. And so therefore, if you blow up our structure and you're physically good enough to blow up our structure, we're in a lot of trouble because we don't have a lot of guys that can make one-on-one plays. I think that's kind of what we saw between those two nights. Sacramento, it's an indictment on Sacramento. What a holy smokes. The scary thing to me, Sacramento terrifies me. As a fan of the Utah Jazz and the NBA, Sacramento terrifies me. Sacramento in 2023, April of 2023, that is 29 months ago, 2.5, like not long ago, right? They play game 7 at home. They're like everyone's favorite thing. And Steph Curry goes for 50 in one of the great single performances of all time. And Sacramento loses at home after coming off a game 6 win on April 28th, like 2 nights before, in which they go into Golden State and win by 20. And it is bonkers. Oh my gosh, Sacramento's the next team. Sabonis and Fox, and this team is so ready, and they've got young Keegan Murray coming. And now they're talking about like Keegan Murray as though he's like the future of their franchise. He's not that. He has zero self-creation to his game. He's a nice player, but he's not that. And you have DeMar DeRozan, who clearly is not on board. And Zach LaVine, who seems to be emotionless. Oh my gosh, what a disaster. But you can build that thing up and get to there 28 months ago and be where, a perilous tale of terror of what might happen if we do this all right, and then it can go that wrong that fast. Now they're probably culpable in some way, and you hope that our ownership is not going to do stuff like that. But wow, terrifying. I tell you, terrifying. Trends Monday is next on Locked On Jazz. I want to tell you about a super cool place up here in Park City. And with snow on the ground and their great snowmaking, you can actually take advantage of it. If you do not know about it already, or if you hadn't thought about it as one of the big ski resorts around, it's called Woodward. And Woodward is right at the base of Parley's Summit. It is a high on the fun per foot ratio at Park City. Woodward is actually second. It's just 20 minutes from the Salt Lake Valley. It's not that big a deal to come over the hump. Woodward offers experiential learning in a radically fun and safe environment with facilities for all abilities. The doors are open to first-timers or regulars alike. Whether you want to bounce from parks to pits to ramps to tramps, back again, the Mountain Park Season Pass is now just $4.99. Rip, hop, laps with a posse after school or into the evening. Maximize mountain time this winter at one of the best terrain parks in Utah all season long. Looking to go all in, the all-access memberships provide just that. Passes to perks to discounts and more. Just starting out, want to learn to fly with Woodward's Tribe in-season multi-week programs to build skills, confidence, stoke, and inspiring environment. Just 20 minutes from Salt Lake. They offer experiential learning with facilities for all athletes. Learn more at woodwardparkcity.com. That's woodwardparkcity.com. And remember, the all-new Mountain Pass Park Season Pass is $4.99. Ride all season at one of the best terrain parks, and absolutely love it. It's Woodward Park City. Today's show is also brought to you by FanDuel, the official sportsbook betting partner of Locked On. FanDuel right now has a great deal for new customers. If you bet $5 and you win, you get $300 in bonus bets. It's all great deal of fun at Woodward right now. That's where live betting with FanDuel, watching the game, whether it's the NFL, the NBA, all taking place. Whether a receiver gets hot, a shooting guard gets hot, you can play it with live betting in-game as the game starts and shifts. You can make the move during the ball game. Live spreads, money lines adjust instantly. Player props update as a guy heats up. Next touchdown, next basket, next drive, next slam dunk, whatever it might be. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action this season, visit FanDuel.com and place your NFL live bets all season long. FanDuel, the game moves fast, so can you. Trends Monday time. Tuesday, we will do late game watch. I had some good late game watches, and there's been some fun stuff. I got a bunch of games to catch up on today. The NBA is really fun right now. All right, what we look at each week right now to give us kind of an idea of where the NBA stands and gets us ready for the week. And let's look at the first thing we look at is the last 10 games by all teams. And then we look at the last 2 weeks, which gives us the micro trend inside of it. This is a little more fun than the last time because now we have enough games. So Oklahoma City's 10-0, and this sucks. And there's nothing worse than Oklahoma City just being better than everyone every second and seemingly unstoppable. And they've done everything right, and it's brutal. So Oklahoma City is the number 1 team in the NBA over the last 10 games. Houston is 2. This is pretty fascinating. Orlando is 3 without Paulo Banchero. I'm not surprised by this. If you've been listening to this show, I don't know. I even said when they signed him to his max deal, like, I don't like it, but I don't know what they're supposed to do otherwise. Denver is 4. Toronto is 5. That's interesting, and they get NBA Cup play. Detroit is 6. Boston is 7. New York is 8. The Lakers are 9. And Minnesota's kind of settled themselves. They just can't close games is 10. So the best teams in the NBA are really, this is always it. The 20th game of the season, kind of just stop where you are, look at the standings, and we'll probably do this tomorrow or Wednesday, and that's where we're sitting. Those are the teams. The 10 teams on the bottom right now are Washington, Sacramento, Brooklyn, New Orleans, Portland has really slid, Chicago, and then Utah is the 6th worst team in the NBA. Clippers and Hornets right there. So that, again, separation there. Milwaukee doesn't mean to be there, but everybody else seems to be kind of there. The number 1 offense in the NBA the last 10 games is Denver. Number 2 is Houston. Number 3 is Boston. Joe Mazzulla, what a job he's doing there. This is where I love this trends. It's like you see a thing like that. Like, how is Boston without Jason Tatum, having traded Drew Holiday, gotten off Kristaps Porzingis? How are they possibly the 3rd best offense in the NBA? Derek White, Peyton Pritchard getting used to their roles. Good happening. Another one where I love the trends. Orlando, 4th best offense in the NBA the last 10 games without Paulo Banchero, is an inefficient ball hog who just never makes plays for his team. No, I'm overplaying it, but like, he really does stop their offense, and very rarely do people get things off of him. Lakers are 5. Oklahoma City is 6. That's LeBron coming back a little bit. New York is 7. Detroit is 8. Spurs are 9. And Atlanta is 10 without Trae Young. Quinn's kind of working his magic there. We're the 12th best offense in the NBA over the last 10 games. Teams that cannot score right now, Sacramento. That's incredible that Sacramento can't score. And the thing is, like, Doug Christie's preaching defense, and like, they can't score. Dallas is 29. Philadelphia is 28. Washington, New Orleans, Indiana, and Brooklyn all having a hard time scoring. Not a big surprise. Best defensive team in the NBA over the last 10 games is Oklahoma City by 6 points over the rest of the number 2 team. And Oklahoma City's defense over the last 10 games is 12 points better than league average per 100 possessions. It's stupid. Toronto is 2, which is interesting because that is not a team I would have thought would have been very good defensively. Minnesota with Rudy clicking in is 3. Houston is 4. Orlando is 5, not surprising. Miami is 6. None of these are surprising. 7 is Cleveland. 8 is Golden State. And 9 is Dallas. Those are the best defensive teams in the league. The only one that might be a little surprising is some of the teams that might have slipped, but nothing too significant. Washington's worst in the NBA, second worst in the NBA over the last 10 games defensively. Clippers, Portland, 27 for all that pressure and everything else just not coming together. Denver, 26, Brooklyn, 25, Charlotte, 24, and New Orleans, 23. So again, this is really where the season begins to settle in, and there aren't a lot of big surprises right now of what's taking place. Let's go to the last 2 weeks. The number 1 point differential is Oklahoma City, though Houston's right behind them. The Lakers are 3. Orlando is the best team in the East over the last 2 weeks. I mean, this is really interesting. Miami right behind them, continue to play well. They're doing it defensively. I'll show you in a second. Then New York and Minnesota. The Minnesota one's worth keeping an eye on. They've been to the Western Conference Finals 2 years in a row. We're all talking about Houston. We're all talking about Denver. We're all talking about the Lakers. We've kind of forgotten about Minnesota. They're terrible finishing games right now. Terrible. But they're so good for the first 44. The other one is since Zach Edey's come back, Memphis is now the 8th best team in the NBA over the last 2 weeks. And Edey's been great. We're the lowest. Last 2 weeks, we're 30th in the NBA. Brooklyn, 29. Washington, 28. Sacramento, 27. Portland, 26. Dallas, 25. Wow, Western Conference, hello. And Chicago after that. Number 1 offense in the NBA, the Lakers. Since LeBron's come back, the Lakers offense is a 132 offensive rating. This is where I like Trends Monday. Little micro trend right there. Lakers offense, they're 5-0 in their last 5 games. They're 132 offensive rating. That is a sick number. League average, by the way, is 115. Denver is 128. Orlando again at 125. Boston at 123. New York, the 5th best offensive team. Oklahoma 6th and Detroit 7th. The teams that cannot score right now, Dallas over the last 5 games their last 7 games is the worst. Sacramento, Utah, Brooklyn, Portland, Washington, and Indiana. Best defense in the NBA, no surprise, Oklahoma City. But number 2, right with them, is Miami. So Miami over the last 7 games defending at the same level as Oklahoma City, as is Houston. Then Toronto 5, Minnesota 4, Toronto 5. Memphis with Zach Edey is 6 defensively. There it is. Indiana defensively, Rick Carlisle has finally got them to defend at 7. Teams not defending, Utah's the worst in the NBA. Denver right after that. Brooklyn, Clippers, Charlotte, Washington, and Boston. So Trends Monday, pretty interesting. Orlando, big story there. What's going on? Lakers offense with LeBron, what's taking place there. No surprises on the bottom other than the Clippers are actually bad, which we probably learned on opening night. That is Locked On Jazz today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Greatly appreciate you. If you're coming to the game tonight, bring noise-canceling headphones. Stop by Section 7. Get the little code. We'll have you all set up for that. We have a lag-free broadcast. It's ArenaCast inside the arena. Glad to have you aboard on that. It is Locked On Jazz. Thanks so much for tuning in. We now send you the first ever national 24/7 NBA channel, Locked On NBA on YouTube. Check out Locked On NBA on audio. Game night, every game, every night.